Today I want to talk about keeping your Tesla clean. So one of the things I had not purchased previously was floor mats. Tesla's floor mats were a little on the pricey side, so Now, as you may have noticed, the Tesla itself doesn't come with floor mats by default. Like most cars, you have to actually buy the floor mats separately, and there's a price point associated with them. So I decided to get some aftermarket floor mats and put them in the car rather than using the ones that Tesla sells themselves. They arrived today, so let's take a look at them and see how they look. So these are the floor mats. They came today. They're in a very large package sitting by my door, and let's open them up and see what we've got going on. All right, so let's see what we've got here. And inside we have, another box inside a box. Let's take that one out. I wonder how many boxes there are. So what we've got is the driver's side one, the passenger side one, and then the one for the rear. The one for the rear was folded in half, so it's a little bit, looks a little funny. So these are actually pretty nice. They've got a nice pile to them. It's not a really big pile. It's no different than what's in the car overall, but it should help protect the floor just a little bit better. Something I wanted to point out, and one of the reasons I was drawn to this particular brand is this is a little Velcro strip here. And they exist there, and on the far side, and the one for the rear. So that way, it should adhere to the actual carpet that's there. And there's also ones on this end to help them stay in place. So that should help overall with it staying in place when you put it in the car. Similarly, the driver's side one, this is the passenger one. The passenger one has one here, and then one here, and one at the top. The driver's mat also has 1, 2, 3, 4 Velcro places to help it hold on to the car as well. So hopefully it'll never come loose. It'll feel comfortable under my foot and work out pretty well in the car. Try it out. These particular floor mats are from a company called T-Expert, and we'll see how they are. Now, of course, before we get started putting the new carpet in, we have to clean the floors a little bit, so let's do that. So I have the driver's side mat here. I'm going to try and put that one in, or I'm going to put it in. I'm not. Now this one I have a little bit more of a concern about only because it's on the driver's side and I want to make sure it goes under the pedals effectively and doesn't cause me any problems when I'm driving. I'll get the lip just past that. It's a little tricky. It keeps Velcroing, which is good and bad, I guess. A distinctly two-handed operation for a moment there to try and get everything in place in the right way here. I think I've got it. I think I've almost got it now. So let's get this one in here. Let's try and arrange it. That makes sense. You may have noticed in here there's a little bit of a dip. It goes down a little bit, so just trying to get everything arranged over that is a little tricky. Not so hard, but a little tricky. Okay, I think I got this in a pretty good spot. It looks like it's a pretty good fit. Got it over the little dip there. Looks like it goes up to the edges. This is pretty good, I think. It's a good fit. Feels pretty comfortable. All right, I think I'm good on the passenger side. Now let's do the driver. And then finally, I have the rear mat, which goes across the entire rear seat because the seat has no hump in it. So it's going to go flat across. So we'll see if we can get that in easily. This back one turned out to be a lot harder than I wanted it to be. The main reason for that has to do with the fact that it has a fold in it. It was folded when it was shipped. Can't really see it here, but it's weird because it actually sticks up in the car. And then, so getting the big piece across was, not a big deal, but it just took a little bit of effort to get it to actually fit in and make it sit in the right place. It's pretty close as it is. And then the other side, same thing. Seems like it fits pretty well. It was just that tricky part of getting it in that spot. Okay. So after it sits for a while, it should iron out that little crease there, and it should work its way out a little bit. But I think I'm good. Job done. So what are my first impressions of the floor mats? I think they fit pretty well. They seem to be pretty stable in place. There's a small amount of odor that I'm getting off of them. Not very much. It seems to be dissipating as I'm driving. I've been driving for a couple of hours now, and it seems like it's already a little less than it was. I don't see any problems with the floor mats in their placement. Seems like everything's pretty good there, and they'll be easy to keep clean that way. So this was a good investment. I really give this a big thumbs up, especially since I saved a lot of money. Second, I noticed that the windows were getting a little bit dirty on the inside, and that's because of the outgassing that happens naturally in cars as they start to settle a little bit, especially in the Florida sun. So I wanted to get something to help me clean the inside of the windows. So I picked up a device, and I want to talk about that a little bit. Kind of up it a little bit, is I've noticed there's a little bit of outgassing that's happening from the dashboard. And you can see maybe a little bit of streak there, a couple of other places where it looks a little dirty. This is all on the inside. So it drives me crazy, especially when I'm dropping my son off at school and I have to drive east back into the sun in the early morning. It makes it hard to see out the windshield. So I went ahead and I got my cleaner, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it a clean. The answer to that is to get one of these windshield cleaners, and that should help clean it out a little more. It's actually extendable, has an arm on it, should make it easy to get up in there and clean them. So let's get that open and see what it does. Cleaning with this isn't so bad. The problem was it took me a couple of tries to get it just right. I tried using some glass cleaner, and that just made things a little bit worse. Then I wound up taking this, just a dry version of the microfiber cloth, and using it on there, and that seemed to clean it pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the results that I've gotten. It took about 10 minutes, maybe a little more, to get through it, but it seems to have worked out. I have a nice clean windshield now. On the inside anyway, still have to clean the outside. The little tool for cleaning the windows also gets a thumbs up. I think it's a pretty good little tool that it makes it pretty easy to keep after the windows on the inside. It's hard to reach down to the corners, so this worked out really well that I could get down in the corners pretty easily. I just used a little bit of window cleaner on the actual cloth, and then just rubbed it up on there to make it clean. So that was pretty good. And lastly, I wanted to talk about cleaning the exterior of the car. So in the past, all the cars I've owned, I've never really done a lot with the exterior. I never really had any cars that I thought really required a lot of care and maintenance on the exterior. Now, the last two vans I owned, because I've owned too many vans recently, I did a good job of keeping them clean, and I'd take them to the car wash once in a while, have them detailed once in a while. So I kept them clean, but it wasn't like a really great clean. I didn't really take good care of them that way. And I feel the Tesla I want to do a little bit more for. So I was doing a little research and trying to figure out what the best solution was. And I found this product that I think will work, and I'm going to try it out, so let's have a look. The question is, what do I clean my car with? Well, this product, Aero Cosmetics Wash and Wax, came recommended as an idea to clean the car. The Tesla Model 3 is supposed to respond really well to this particular product. And they give some directions on here, and the directions basically have a way to do it as a wet wash or a way to do it as a dry wash. I'm going to do it as a dry wash. It's actually an all-in-one wax and wash product. So what you do is you basically spray it on, and then you use one of these microfiber cloths to wipe it off. So I've got a bunch of these I got from Costco I'm going to use. So you're supposed to spray an area, and then once it sits on there for a moment or two, you're supposed to just wipe it off. Now if you're going to do the wet wash, they tell you to wash the car first, dampen these, and then rub them on there, and then wipe off the product. But I think the car's in good enough shape where I can just go ahead and just go right through and don't have to worry about that. So let's give it a try and see how it works out. Now supposedly you can use it on everything from the windows to the actual frame itself, all the way around on all the painted surfaces. You can see my car's got a little bit of dirt on it. This is probably the right time to go ahead and clean it, so why not go ahead and get started? Wax on, wax off. Come on, Daniel son. All told, it took me about 45 minutes to get it this clean. it was pretty dirty before this. So now it looks like it's actually fairly clean. There are some spots where there was a little road debris, or maybe a bird poop, or a tree that a few spots around that maybe could use a little more cleaning. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. My first time cleaning it like this, came out pretty well, I thought. So between the cleaning I just gave it on the outside and the using that microfiber towel on the inside, I feel pretty good about the way the front windshield looks like now. It actually is very clean. It's nice and crystal clear again. I had a little problem with it. It was getting a little bit gritty on both the inside and the outside. I feel pretty good about the way it stands now. So that was a good investment. As for the exterior of the car, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. I like the way it looks. It looks really nice. It looks almost factory new. Very easy to put on and take off. It didn't take very long to do, so I'm pretty happy with the overall results. So I would give that a thumbs up as well. So I've done a pretty good job on this particular round of figuring out some things that I wanted to have in the car to make the car easier to clean. So pretty excited about that.